Every leader has one silent enemy. And this enemy doesn't always announce itself. It doesn't look like incompetence. In fact, it oftentimes looks like cleverness, but it's cleverness without character. And African folklore has one small but dangerous animal that it uses to demonstrate, to expose this. And that animal is a tortoise. And if you lead people, you shape culture, or you influence budgets, this story is not folklore. This story is actually a warning. So the story goes like this. There was a time that there was a feast in the sky. It was a time when the animals on the earth had a famine. Only the birds had access to food. And Tortoise decided, I'd like to go with you people. So he wanted access, he wanted prestige, he wanted the proximity to power, but he couldn't fly. So the birds said to him, Tortoise, how are you going to, we don't mind you coming, but how are you going to make it? You don't have any feathers. So Tortoise negotiated. He said to them, hey, can you all lend me one feather each? That's all I ask of you. Birds agreed, and they all lent him feathers. And now Tortoise had wings, he could fly, so he joined them. And along the way, he made himself their leader and said to them, when we get there, we're all going to have to give our names. So what name do you want to be called? Let's all take names now. So the birds agreed. Everyone took a name. And when they had finished, Tortoise said, my name will be all of you. They agreed. They got to the feast and there was a massive spread. And the hosts announced and they said, this food is for all of you. Tortoise said, that's me. So Tortoise went to the table, he ate and he ate. He didn't think about the birds, he just focused on. And when the birds were looking at him, they were like wondering, but what's up? Tortoise said, don't worry, yours is coming. This is for all of you. And they watched Tortoise eat until the food was practically gone. The host wondered what was going on, but since it was acceptable to the birds, they just let it be. When the tortoise finished, the birds just took their feathers and went back to the earth. Tortoise begged them, please, I'm sorry, please, okay, fine. If you're not going to leave your feathers, could you at least tell my wife to put out a mattress so that when I fall from here, I won't hurt myself too much? Of course, they never did. And that's why Tortoise, when he fell, that's why he has those cracks on his shell today. Now, African wisdom concludes that whatever you build with deception will fail. It will collapse, and it will collapse without warning. But there's a leadership principle here, and that is borrowed influence will always betray you. If your leadership depends on manipulation or entitlement or borrowed credibility, your fall will not be accidental. It is something that will come as a matter of course, because the fracture is structural. For the executive, there is also an application in this, and that is that borrowed power, where you're relying on your title or access or your proximity, instead of power that is built through trust, investing in people, where you believe that your results, people owe you results, people owe you loyalty, people owe you recognition. You're walking on dangerous ground. What about using the manipulative strategy, where you use charm and flattery or ambiguity to gain advantage? They oftentimes don't look toxic at the beginning. They look smart until gravity shows up, right? So the leadership question, and you have to be brutally honest here, is to ask yourself, am I earning trust or am I extracting it? Extraction of trust always looks efficient. It's less emotionally taxing, less stressful. Where building trust takes time. You need to actually look at your people, see them, get to know them, and then they get to know you and trust you. That is a slower process. It takes a longer time. And most people would rather not invest their energy in this, but that's the only one that lasts. How about the boardroom? For modern leaders, are you in the habit of claiming credit for collective effort? How about weaponizing relationships? Or hiding ambition behind diplomacy? How about confusing access with authority? Tortoise leaders don't always fall or fail because they lack talent. Most times they are some of the most talented, skillful people. The only flaw in their lives is their character. Their character cannot sustain the altitude that they have risen to. And the altitude they have risen to, they didn't rise there because they built it. Others did. So when your character cannot sustain an altitude it didn't build, it will expose you. Your markets will expose you. Your teams will expose this fault line. Time always exposes this fault line. So I'd like to give you a challenge today. This week, identify one relationship where you're taking more than you're giving. Whether it is in terms of influence, in terms of credit, in terms of emotional labor, you're taking more. Or even in terms of visibility. Where are you taking more than you're giving? Repair it. Start giving instead of always taking. Restore balance in your life and in your relationship and in your leadership. Because leadership is not about how high you fly. We need to be careful about what got us there. Are the wings truly yours? The wings that you used to get this high, are they truly yours? And the final word is never build your accent on borrowed feathers. This is Coach Gucci signing off. Have an amazing week.